Hello everyone, my name is Gary Oakdale, as the username suggests, and this is my very first Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle. So the guy I'm facing is using a pretty standard rain team. He's got a couple of unorthodox Pokemon here and there, but it's pretty standard. And I'm using an RU team, and a lot of the Pokemon in my team have new movesets, all thanks to the new move tutors in Black and White 2. As you can see, the Strudigon has Stealth Rocks, which it couldn't learn before Black and White 2 came out. So that's what the Strudigon's main job is to set up Stealth Rocks, and then generally works a phaser because it has Roar. It also has Dragon Tail as well, just in case there's someone trying to taunt me. I do try to glare this Politoed here, but it does, as you can see, it doesn't really work out. I get the freeze hacks, and it's a shame because I could have really done with this Politoed being paralyzed. I worked out pretty quickly that it was scarfed. But anyway, I send in Munchlax, and as you can see, he takes the Ice Beam like a champ, and the guy switches out to Toxicroak to see if he can deal with this Munchlax a little bit better. I take this opportunity to go for the Brick Break and get rid of all the screens, the Reflect and the Light Screen. It doesn't really matter much in the long run. And I see the substitute coming a million miles away, so I decide to use the Whirlwind just to get rid of the Toxicroak for the time being. There's not a lot I can do otherwise with this Munchlax. Sure enough, typically I bring in Politoed again. The guy decides to stay in and go for the Focus Blast. He wants to see how much a Focus Blast will do on the Munchlax. But, you know, he's a Violite and he's the best special wall in RU. And as you can see, he takes a move which he is weak to very, very well. But I still don't want to take any more damage, and knowing that this Politoed is scarfed, I've got a free switch in here with my Cofagrigus. The Politoed switches out and brings in this Volcarona, who takes a lot of damage to the Stealth Rocks. Apologies for this little pop-up here, you can't actually see that. There you go, you can see half his health is already gone. And they go for the Knockoff, which is another new Black and White 2 move tutor move for Cofagrigus. I get rid of his leftovers, which really works out in my favour because he can't recover his health. He can't go just above half like like I imagine he'd like to. It gives me the perfect opportunity just to Whirlwind this Volcarona out, and the next switch in he'll go down to the Stealth Rocks again. Of course I take that Hurricane very well as well. So the Volcarona isn't a problem anymore, and I send in Munchlax, and but I bring back in touch my Cofagrigus while the Bronzong goes for the Stealth Rocks. He makes a good play here. He switches in Volcarona as Death Fodder, and just to see what my Cofagrigus is intending to do, I think I go for the Will-O-Wisp here. Yeah, there I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and it gives my opponent a free switch in. So he switches in the biggest threat in his team, Tornadus, which, as we all know, is so good in the rain. Just glad it's not the new form of Tornadus. I go for the Knockoff here and get rid of his Life Orb, which comes to bite me in the backside really, because now that he doesn't have a Life Orb, he isn't getting any recoil damage from any of his attacks. As you can see, he takes out my Munchlax in a couple of turns here, and he would have got at least one bit of recoil damage here, because I bring in my Samurott now, hoping I can take him out with one Aqua Jet. It's an adamant-natured Samurott with Life Orb, and I thought Aqua Jet might be able to take him out, but he survives with a smidgen of health, a slither of health, and if he still had his Life Orb, then this would have been a double down here, and the Tornadus wouldn't have been a problem. Not that it's much of a problem for much longer in the match. Just take it out with my Wartortle here with an Ice Beam, but unfortunately my Wartortle has to take a Hurricane. He survives the hit. He survives well. He's still got well over half his HP. But it would have been nice to get rid of that Tornadus and my Wartortle still have full HP. But he brings in Lapras, and I don't see it as much of a threat at this moment. He goes for a Dragon Dance here, but it doesn't really bother me. I just take this opportunity to get rid of the Stealth Rocks with Rapid Spin. I think if I poison this Lapras, then It'll die eventually, it'll go down eventually, and then it won't be a problem. So I go for the Toxic here, completely forgetting that Lapras has hydration. And this is when I really start to panic. I send in Tuts. It's a risky play, and it pays off, fortunately, because this guy is greedy and decides to go for another Dragon Dance. And he didn't need to. As you can see, this Aqua Tail does a lot of damage, and he would have had easily had a 2-hit KO with 2 Dragon Dances up, but he had to go for 3 because he was greedy, and this gives me the perfect opportunity to go for a Haze and get rid of all of those boosts. And I just recover a little bit of HP back with my leftovers. And why he goes for an Outrage here is beyond me. The cool animation is not a good enough excuse here, because obviously it gives me the chance to survive, and I go for the Pain Split, which is another move tutor move in Black and White 2, which Cofagrigus benefits from so much. As you can see, Cofagrigus is doing well now. The tables are completely turned, and this Lapras is really suffering, especially once I've burnt it. And unfortunately for the Lapras, it's locked into a 3rd turn of Outrage. And I decide, well, I don't want my Cofagrigus to take any more damage. I want it to have as much health as possible, so I just switch in Car, my superior, which is a really cool move set. It's Giga Drain, Leech Seed, Knockoff, and Aromatherapy, and then it's holding a big root, which I like to think works. I'm still sort of experimenting with it at the moment, but as you can see, you'll get quite a bit of health back from this Giga Drain here. And get rid of this Choice Scarf Politoed out of the way. You know, it's gone, which is a bit of a relief. It's just this Toxicroak that I have to deal with now. I just go for the Leech Seed just to get some residual damage, which really helps me out here, because he goes for the Substitute, and then it's going to be difficult for me to break the Substitute. But in all honesty, the Toxicroak is going to have a lot of trouble trying to cause any, cause any kind of damage to my team. As you see, I send in Cofagrigus again. It becomes a bit of a stall war here. I've got a plan. I don't want it to be a stall war. I've got a plan to sort of eliminate this Toxicroak. It involves I need to break the sub first. So I can knock off its leftovers or burn it. And hopefully, when I go for the knockoff, it would go for a Sucker Punch, activating my Mummy ability and then negating his Dry Skin ability. So he would lose all of his sort of health boosts, all of his health gains, and just start losing damage if I were lucky enough to get it burnt. But none of this really goes my way. I'm still getting a lot of health back with leftovers and Leech Seed, but it's just I'm not really getting anywhere anytime soon. He keeps trying to bulk up, and I just haze it away, get rid of all the boosts. So everything he's doing is in vain. And I think at some points here, I eventually, I switch back in my my superior. I can't remember why exactly. I think it was just to get my health back, seeing as Cofagrigus was up to full HP. It sort of defeat the points of Leech Seed. So just get some health back with my superior, and try to break its sub with that, because this superior carries knockoff as well as my Cofagrigus. So it just keeps on going on and on like this. So yeah, I mean, sorry about my narration again. I know it's still sketchy. This is only my 3rd Wi-Fi battle ever, as the few of you who have watched my videos already know. Thank you for persevering with me. I hope I am getting better with each video. I know I've been away for a good week or so. It's only because Black and White 2 have come out, and I've had a lot of trouble with trying to download the ROM and get it onto my DS and make it playable. And it's not so easy to do it all on a Mac than it is, as it is on Windows, because the information isn't there as much. But anyway, Bronzong's causing a lot of trouble. I don't want it to be gyro balling. my superior. I prefer to be using Gyro Ball on my Cophagus because, as you can see, it does very little. I just think put salt in the wound and go for a Will-O-Wisp, but just why did I have to miss it? That was just irritating. Anyway, he goes for a Stealth Rocks, and he obviously goes for Stealth Rocks in vain because he calls it a day and forfeits right there. And that's the battle. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.